The late afternoon sun cast long shadows over Washington, D.C., as Jessica Knight sat at her desk at Ncis headquarters, flipping through case files. The bullpen was quieter than usual, with Nick Torres out chasing down a lead and Alden Parker locked in his office. Across from her, Jimmy Palmer was humming softly to himself, completely absorbed in his computer screen. It wasn't the usual lab reports or medical files he was looking at. Jessica had noticed over the past week that Jimmy had been distracted, checking his phone more often than usual and wearing an easygoing smile whenever he wasn't busy with work. She knew that smile. It was the same one he had when he talked about his daughter, Victoria. But lately, it had appeared for another reason. Something was up. Jessica had never been the jealous type. She and Jimmy had only been dating for a year, and while things were serious, they were also comfortable. No games, no mind reading. Still, she couldn't shake the nagging feeling that something had shifted. "Hey, what's got you so happy over there?" she asked casually, leaning her chin on her hand. Jimmy looked up, startled, as if he hadn't realized she was watching him. "What? Oh, nothing. Just, my new neighbor, actually. She just texted me. She baked cookies for Victoria and me." Jessica's eyebrows lifted slightly. "Your neighbor?" "Yeah, Claire," Jimmy said, his voice warm. "She moved in 2 doors down last month. Super nice lady, teaches at a local art school. Victoria's obsessed with her dog, so we've been chatting a lot." Jessica forced a smile. "Sounds friendly." Jimmy grinned. "Oh, she is very friendly. She even offered to help me repaint my kitchen last weekend. I told her I'd consider it." Jessica felt a prickle of something she didn't want to name. It wasn't that she didn't trust Jimmy, but hearing about Claire's generosity and how eager Jimmy was to talk about her sent a flicker of doubt through her. Before she could say anything else, Parker walked out of his office, setting a case file on Jessica's desk. "Knight, Palmer, grab your gear. We've got a body in Rock Creek Park." The conversation would have to wait. The case and the distraction. By the time they arrived at the crime scene, Jessica had managed to shove her concerns to the back of her mind. The victim, a former Navy officer, was found near a hiking trail, his wallet and phone missing. While Parker and Torres interviewed hikers, Jessica and Jimmy worked together to examine the body. As Jimmy leaned over the victim, making notes on lividity and body temperature, his phone vibrated in his pocket. He barely glanced at it, but Jessica caught the brief flicker of a smile before he silenced the notification. Jessica pretended not to notice, but she did. After wrapping up the scene, they returned to Ncis headquarters, where Casey was already analyzing evidence. Jessica tried to focus on the case, but the moment Jimmy pulled out his phone again, she finally snapped. "Who keeps texting you?" she asked, keeping her tone light. Jimmy hesitated. "Oh, just Claire again. She, wanted to know if Victoria likes chocolate chip or oatmeal raisin." Jessica forced a chuckle. You talk about Claire a lot lately." Jimmy blinked. "Do I?" She shrugged. "Just an observation." Before Jimmy could respond, Parker called them over with an update on the case. Dinner at Jimmy's. That night, Jessica hesitated before heading over to Jimmy's place. He had invited her for dinner with Victoria, but now she was wondering if she'd also have to meet Claire. When she arrived, Jimmy greeted her at the door, his usual warm self, kissing her on the cheek. The smell of pasta filled the air, and Victoria came bounding in, chattering about her day. But as they sat down to eat, Jimmy's phone lit up again. He checked it, just for a second. Jessica put her fork down. "So, when do I get to meet your new best friend?" Jimmy looked up, confused. "Claire?" Jessica nodded. "Oh, I don't know," Jimmy said. "I mean, she's just my neighbor, Jess. Why?" Jessica exhaled. "I don't know. It's just, you seem really into this friendship, and she seems really into helping you with everything." Jimmy frowned. "She's just nice." "Is she?" Jessica asked, tilting her head. "Or is she too nice?" Jimmy's brows furrowed. "Jessica, are you jealous?" She huffed. "No, I don't know. Maybe I feel a little weird about it. It seems like she's making a lot of effort to be part of your life." Jimmy's expression softened. "Jess, Claire's just a friend. And honestly, I barely noticed how much I've been talking about her. But if it bothers you, I'll be more mindful." Jessica sighed, relieved. "I just needed to say it." "Good," Jimmy said, taking her hand. "Because you're the only one I want." Just then, A knock sounded at the door. Jimmy stood up, and when he opened it, Claire was standing there, smiling, holding a plate of cookies.